I just found out through an internet meme last week that President Scroob in Spaceballs.
President Scroob in Spaceballs?
President Scroob in Spaceballs. Scroob, the way it was spelled, is an anagram for Brooks.
Oh, well.
Like, whoa. It's like I watched that movie for, 35 years? Almost?
And never knew.
Never knew. Never figured it out.
Now that's a mind blower. Fire.
Welcome, everybody. Jesus Christ. Hi, everybody. It's Mike, and with me is Ivan and Jeff. And this is News of the Squared, our wacky podcast thing that we do every week. This is number 82. We've done this 81 times before, but we're doing it just like the first time ever today. So we're glad to have you with us, and let's get started. We've got some wacky news. You can find these on our Squares Roundtable Facebook page. And, of course, listen on your other places. So we'll start. Now, you get sucked. All right, here's the situation. All right, you get sucked into a 1990s TV time warp, and you must live with one 90s TV sitcom family. Who do you choose? You choose Home Improvement, Growing Pains. No, I'm sorry. That's Full House. Married with Children. Roseanne, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or Family Matters? Who do you choose, Ivan?
I'd have to go with Family Matters.
Yeah, Urkel is my spirit animal.
I mean, look, if we're talking about where I want to live...
You must live, yes. The wording is live with one family.
Yeah, well, I can think of worse things than living in the pool house in Bel Air, California. So, I mean, really, in reality, the Fresh Prince of Bel Air seems like a no-brainer.
The Carlton, yeah.
Living in the pool house and living in Bel Air, California in a mansion, that sounds awfully good. I will admit that I resonate far more with the Married with Children crowd, but they never have food.
Oh yeah, true that. But you've got Kelly.
Yeah, there's that.
Mm-hmm.
There's that, and you got Peg, sorta. Well, anyway. Plus, you can ask.
You got Peg, yeah.
You get to talk to Al Bundy about four touchdowns in one game. So
yeah, this one shining moment.
Yeah, and then constant jokes about the woman came into the shoe store today.
Yeah, and I think like Home Improvement would be dangerous. I mean, Tim the Toolman Taylor was constantly blowing shit up. You'd be scared for your life living in that.
Do we get Danny Tanner, or do we get Saget? Do we get Bob Saget?
We get Bob Saget.
No, I mean, do we get Danny Tanner, Bob Saget, or we get Bob Saget?
You get Danny Tanner.
Bob Saget. Yeah, see, Bob Saget is a dirty bastard.
Yeah, he is. You heard his stand-up. It's filthy as shit.
Yeah, it's filthy. It's horrible. After he did Full House, it was funny.
I think you have to live within the boundaries of the sitcom itself, not the stand-up acts of the actors.
I mean,
I had a Las Vegas story about Bob Saget.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I did.
All right.
True story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going down to Fremont Avenue, okay, in Las Vegas. This was towards the end of the trip, and so I've got my Mavic camera. I got this big honking thing. I'm just taking the regular pictures.
What year was
Dion,
this?
All this shit.
What year was this?
Here's a bunch of people. They're like crowded around this dude, and I'm like, man, what's going on over there? So I kind of mosey down over there. It's a fucking Bob Saget.
Yeah. Ivan? Okay? What year was this?
This was 2010.
Okay, all right, that's recent. Okay.
So what happens? So I get on in there and I start mixing in with the big crowd of people who also had cameras and movie cameras and booms, equipment, all this shit. They go and Bob is talking about, we're going to infiltrate, what goes on in Fremont Street. Fremont Street for the unindated is the replica of what Las Vegas was back in its heyday with its main tour de faire plus some of its original tour de faire, which is still intact. They also have they also have a ceiling like a with this all video display. It was the most amazing thing. Anyway, so they get to the gateway, and Bob Saget is informed that unless he has the necessary paperwork, he was not allowed into Fremont Avenue. You know, he didn't have it. He was just going to go over there and storm the place. So anyway, what happens? Bob Saget, he's like, okay. And he goes, yeah, so he's turning around, somewhat defeated in the fact that, he wasn't able to get this, documentary that he was going to try to do on Fremont Street because he didn't have the proper paperwork. Well, we run into Pauly Shore's father on the way, and he was just outside, of this one club that I guess he owned on that street there in Las Vegas. And then, as I was, took my share of pictures of this whole event, I was going away, and some lady chases me down and says, "Excuse me, mister, but you were in some of our shots." I said, "What shots?" He goes, "Oh, for the documentary we were trying to do." That's, how I knew it was a documentary. And so he goes, "Yeah, you need to sign off on this." And I'm like, I say, "Yeah, sure." I didn't know nothing. I just signed off on it. Like, okay, sure. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to spoil your frame or do whatever I did. I have no idea if that documentary ever saw the light of day. But I do have pictures. There's my Bob Saget story. You're welcome.
Okay. So you're at Family Matters. Jeff, you're at Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know. Because,
if you could balance any two.
I mean, Family Matters seems like stable environment. I wouldn't go to Roseanne. That's Roseanne. And now Full House is too much shit going on at Full House. But Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is
it's full of shit.
Yeah. And then Married with Children, although they're, you got Christine Applegate there, but that's tempting. But the stable, having to live there, I think I might be with Jeff.
Right. There's no food.
Yeah. I might have to go with Jeff and go to the live in Westfield, and instead of Wills, Philadelphia, born and raised, I'm going to Bel-Air. I think I'm going to Bel-Air.
I will give, and this is the part I never understood. For somebody who had no food, they did have the coolest dog in all of TV. Buck is probably my favorite TV dog.
He is a neat dog.
And those episodes where Buck talks is the best because it's what's his name? Isn't it Cheech Marin?
I don't know. I don't know who was the voice of.
I think it was. They did those episodes where Buck talks, and it's like where Buck is like.
Oh,
those entire
are funny
episodes
as hell.
where it's like where it's Buck and everything's Buck. He's like, "Well, the boy will come save me." He's like, "Oh, jeez, we're so screwed." Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Buck, we got a whole bunch of stories from our intern, our on assignment intern this week, Buck Naked, and he works with Mike Edwin. He was one of our newer interns on the News of the Squared program.
Yeah, this week.
And he went into a little overdrive. I think we found ourselves another intern, by the way, gentlemen, because when in the car of Jethro Genius, 30 years old of Port Lucie, Florida, got pulled over by police on the early morning of January 4th. He told the officers the bag of brown and white substances they found in his backpack were baking supplies, sugar, and a bag of cornstarch to bake a cake.
Okay, sounds reasonable.
Genius, who doesn't sound like one, had an outstanding warrant and was taken into custody. And the contents of both bags tested positive for Molly and ecstasy.
Oops.
Oh, no.
At jail, Genius dropped another bag of white powder, which tested positive for meth. He's charged with trafficking amphetamines. So definitely not a genius. We should hire a Jethro genius. It'll be good because he'll
Jethro
be
genius called Gigi.
That's a name for this. Seriously, there's a possible band name, Jethro Genius. That could be a.
That would be. Jethro Genius would make for a great band name.
All I'm gonna say is, if you're gonna bake a cake out of that stuff, you're definitely gonna be seeing
Jethro and the Geniuses.
And, that's
Jethro
it.
Genius. And all of his exes.
Could you imagine a cake made out of Molly, ecstasy, and meth?
Now that's a party.
Yeah.
You won't remember the next day, but
you're not gonna see the ground for a while, if at all.
The next day, I don't know if you're gonna remember a week.
Possibly. But you've heard the phrase. You heard the phrase Grace Slick said. If you remember the '60s, you weren't there.
Yeah, seriously. By the way, it's really unfortunate because we usually don't talk about people in terms of death, but but just so people are aware, this is a false story. There was a story running around the internet about that one of the guys from the Capitol building accidentally tased himself and killed himself. So, by tasing his balls, but that is apparently a false story. Yeah. But we're still going to talk about it because it's a dumbass who stormed the Capitol, who tased himself in the balls, and we kind of wish it was true. Yeah. All right, Mike, go ahead. What do you got?
It's also on the Squares page on projectviper.wordpress.com. Someone's building a full-size 1-to-1 scale replica of a Colonial Viper from Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, man.
Now, if you are of a certain age, you will love this. A guy is building a full-scale Viper in his backyard. What, an F-16? I hear you say no, a Colonial Viper from the original sci-fi series Battlestar Galactica, or Mark I from the reimagined series. The one
his backyard.
There's one designed by Ralph McQuarrie and flown by Starbuck, Apollo, and Boomer and Company. And I'm going to click the link here to Project Viper, and it is, you see it's like in a garage where I don't think there's no paint on it, but it has like that silver metallic finish to it.
It has now become part of my screensaver.
It looks pretty cool. It's almost, stages of its construction. It's not obviously not done, but yeah, it's well underway. That looks pretty awesome. It looks like the stuff from the show.
Cool.
I can never get around to watching the new Battlestar Galactica.
You never watched the reboot?
No.
Oh, it's really good when they meet up with the Pegasus and Michelle Forbes, who played Ensign Rowe on Next Generation. She's the captain of the Pegasus. And it has that, that post-9/11 kind of apocalypse, like we're all like in this shit together kind of thing, has those vibes. But there were some great moments.
Does it have the scene? Does it have the scene from the original about, sir, what do we do about the other Battlestar? What are you talking about, the other Battlestar? Oh shit!
There's been times where where both the Battlestar Galactica and the Pegasus have teamed up and done some nasty shit.
There's the scene in the original Battlestar Galactica when you've got the Galactica and the Pegasus, and Baltar's attacking, and he's not aware about the other thing, and he thinks he's got numbers and he's all good, and he's going to crush the Galactica. And the episode, and basically the Cylons who are in Baltar's decided to be in one of the Cylon fighters, and he thinks, because he wants to be there for the glorious victory, and they're like, sir, what do we do about the other Battlestar? He's like, what other battle? Holy crap, where did that come from? But yeah, I guess so honestly, this is going to sound bad. One of the reasons I didn't watch it was, one, where's the dog?
Oh, the Moffat? Yeah, they teased it in the pilot, but they never brought it back because they knew it was corny as shit. So.
I was a kid. I like that. Then there's the other part. I can't get past the idea of Starbuck and Apollo doing it without thinking about Richard Hatch and Dirk Benedict the entire time. Okay? I just can't do it. And then it gets creepy.
Oh, it's just different continuity,
I understand, but it's like, I'm watching it and I'm like, Starbucks and Apollo.
Starbucks a check now.
Come on, poor
Right.
Jeff. Don't think that it's so hard.
Think you're
I wasn't
overthinking
thinking
it.
about it. I'm a mental imager sometimes. Sometimes these things pop in and you're like,
It's not as
yeah!
it's not as bad as watching that Liberace movie with Michael Douglas and Matt Damon. That was pretty.
Okay,
God.
there you go.
They had scenes where they made out. I'm like, oh god.
No.
No, my eyes.
Yeah, that's when you need to do. That's when you need to do the mind cleanse, like in Ford Fairlane when Dice Clay goes Roseanne Barr naked, dun dun. You're good.
All right,
That'll cleanse anything out of your mind.
what you got next, Jeff?
So a guy named Caleb from Willston, North Dakota, was arrested and charged with burglary the day after and terrorizing people the day after Christmas for kicking in the front door of a former coworker's home after the man apparently failed to answer his Facebook friend request.
Wow.
Gee, and now to answer why he wasn't
People with
responding,
too much time on their hands.
well, to answer why he wasn't responding to the request, one of the messages read, "Accept my friend request, or I'm going to murder you."
Oh, okay. That got
according to the affidavit, and another message from our good friend Caleb was said that he would come at Thomas. Apparently, that's the coworker. If he didn't accept, the smoking gun reported that he pleaded guilty and is scheduled for an appearance in April in district court. So
Okay. But
Wow.
does the article say he accepted the friend request before or after he was arrested?
I don't think it says he accepted it at all.
Doesn't sound like he accepted your request, though.
No. How do you get? Let me ask you a question. You guys get that stuff often where you get like the friend request and you're like, okay, this has got to be a porn bot, right? Or or
I've had
some
those
weird thing
where-
like
Yeah, this is some kind of bullshit going on here. Yeah,
right?
I've had
Or
The profile
like,
pictures from 2016. Yeah.
People who spell their names weird or have weird, like sometimes I'll have two first names or two last names or, the facsimile of. I mean, just these weird.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then you look on the profile, and then you start looking through everything. You find out, most of it's from Ghana, most of it's from Mozambique, or whatever the fuck they have. All that shit going on there.
Well,
Some country that
and
Ivan
it's
can't
weird
pronounce.
because like being in Toastmasters, because there are places all across the world that are in those places, so it's kind of like I always feel like depending on how many people I've seen who have friended some of these people, I'm like playing Russian roulette on whether or not they're legit or not. Like, is this person going to be the person? Is this person going to be the person who's a legit person from the international organization I'm from, or is within the first 5 minutes this person's going to send me a PM asking me to donate some money for their church, for like their family in Ghana or some shit like that.
Well, yeah, I know. I've had that happen. I mean, you get the ones that, especially behind the picture that I know doesn't belong to them and everything. Then they got the love story and, I love you, but I'm in a situation right now. My son, my daughter, my mother, my father, my brother, I'm having problems and I need money and you think you can help me. Oh, I do so much for you. And then, when you send for me, we'll be together. I mean, like all this long dialogue. And you're like, damn, people, no shame, really.
It was funny because there's a guy who did it, who's done who did a TEDx, and his entire premise on his TEDx was that basically he was tormenting one of those people from one of those scam deals.
Right?
He tormented one of these guys from these scam deals to the point where they didn't want to talk to him anymore, and he does it all the time. It's kind of funny. It's really pretty good. I can't remember the guy's name. Otherwise, I'd tell you off the top of my head. But all right, Mike, what else we got?
Here's one from NBC Los Angeles. A masked Mandalorian riding the LA streets, spreading happiness during the pandemic. Now,
Cool.
Those who have spotted him can't wait for him to zoom by again. A guy dressed in a Mandalorian costume is on a mission of sorts, but this man-child, as he calls himself, is armed with his sense of humor. On his skateboard, he travels at the speed of traffic through the LA streets. And he says, I'll just ride behind traffic with everybody. Police officers think it's hysterical. I've been pulled over once. He's like, why do you think you can just go through a red light? And I went space pirate. Nothing you can do but laugh. Unlike other Mandalorians, this one who hails from Toluca Lake is revealing his face. Tim Brenner is a stand-up comedian who realized he no longer needs a stage. And this whole thing got started because I'm a big box of stupid and I love making people laugh. And when quarantine hit, they were talking about 2022, and we thought we wouldn't be able to perform again. And a friend of mine was like, dude, the world is your stage. Go act on it.
Yeah.
So he dresses up as the Mandalorian. He's got the little baby Yoda with him. He says, you wouldn't believe this with girls. It's like, look, it's Baby Yoda. Oh my God, Baby Yoda. With guys, it's like, Boba Fett. and with kids are like, it's Mandalorian. But for out of the work comedian, this act is for himself just as much as his audience. He says there's no greater feeling in the world, and with some people with depression, a pill can help. With some people, therapy. With me, this is my therapy.
God.
There you go.
So if you
when the officers stop him, does he go, "This is the way"? Does he say, "I have spoken"?
No, that's the young guy. I don't know if you want to do what the officer says, because I'm not sure that's real Beskar you got on, buddy. You know, the bullets.
No. But this is the way that I have spoken. I just want to find that box so stupid. And does that come in like a regular size, or is it family size, or is it like?
Is it like a deluxe? I mean, how much?
Yeah, is there a one-person serving or like a half serving of like
one size fits all?
Yeah, because 2020 was a whole lot of stupid, but yeah.
You ain't
and
shit.
I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about just.
I'm talking the whole fucking year, man. You ain't shit. Okay.
So so we've got a woman from Bloomington, Indiana, by the name of Holly. She's a 20-year-old, and told park rangers that she knew that Mount Rushmore National Memorial was closed, and she knew she wasn't allowed to climb the South Dakota Monument, which is why she did it at night. The Rapid City Journal reported that a ranger monitoring security cameras saw a flashlight's beam moving along the slope of the broken rocks just beneath George Washington on January 3rd, and ran to the area where he saw Holly climbing the base of Washington's lapel about 200 feet up.
Wow.
The ranger demanded she get down, which she did. Probably the most action George has seen in years, by the way.
She went down on George.
Holly was sober and cooperative, and the next day she was fined $1,250 after pleading guilty for climbing a monument in federal court.
Well, now she can say she did it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. She could tell the world she went down on George Washington.
Yeah, she mounted a president.
Scandal.
Scandal.
Mounted a president.
She
made no money. She costed her some money, though.
Yeah, she
I had
actually
$450 to fucking Washington to get any thrills.
Yeah, I paid $1,200 to mount a dead president. I didn't even get a T-shirt.
Now she got fined some dead presidents.
Seriously, you're 200 feet off the ground in the middle of the night to climb. What was her plan? Where were you planning on going?
I think it might have been a little haphazard at this point. I don't know if she herself.
Well, supposedly she was sober. What was the thought process?
She had to crawl inside her nose. Did he crawl inside George Washington's
nose?
What
was she gonna do?
What you gonna do, man?
I mean,
get a selfie? I mean, getting a selfie with the $1 bill wasn't enough?
Yeah, what? She gonna get a selfie inside his nose or something? Or...
Might have been playing on some kind of dare or something.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's just weird because it's like, okay, it's one thing to be like, all right, fine, I'm going to go at night to go out and see it and skip in there. It's another thing to, hey, guess what? I'm going to climb it. And you're not, and you're sober?
This can't be the first time someone's tried to climb one of the presidents.
I'm sure that's not.
By the way, Mike, did they state she was sober?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, you know, it definitely isn't the first time. I mean, Bill Clinton had women climbing him for years.
That's right. You know it, baby. Woohoo!
His otherwise spotless reputation.
I got hills already ready, honey. Let's go. Oh, shit, Hillary.
I like a macanudo.
Oh, shit, Hillary. No. Get away. Oh, boy. All right, Mike, what else you got?
Yes, a short week this week. This is the last one I got here. This was from Yahoo, what's also from Chicago Tribune. A man lived inside O'Hare Airport for 3 months before detection, according to prosecutors.
Our tax dollars at work in Chicago, ladies and gentlemen.
A California man who police claimed to be too afraid to fly due to COVID-19 hid out for 3 months in a secured area of O'Hare International Airport until this weekend arrest, prosecutors said Sunday.
Wow. Okay.
Did he have money?
36-year-old Aditya Singh is charged with felony criminal trespass to a restricted area of an airport and misdemeanor theft. In Bond court Sunday, prosecutors said Singh arrived at O'Hare on a flight from L.A. On October 19th and allegedly has lived in the airport's security zone ever since without detection. Cook County Judge Susanna Oritz reacted incredulously Sunday after a prosecutor detailed the allegations. She says, "So if I understand you correctly," she said, "you're telling me that an unauthorized, non-employee individual was allegedly living within a secure part of the O'Hare Airport terminal from October 19th to January 16th and was not detected? I want to understand you correctly." So, early Saturday afternoon, 2 United Airlines employees approached Singh and asked to see his identification. Assistant State's Attorney Kathleen Haggerty said Singh lowered his face mask and showed them an airport ID tag that he was wearing around his neck.
Sure he's not from Kokosia?
No, he's not. He's not. And yeah, the guy in the comments section here on our page says this guy doesn't look like Tom Hanks. Yeah. But he showed an ID badge that actually belonged to an operations manager who had reported it missing since October 26th. The employees
had an operations badge for 3 months.
Just in case he got caught. But, of course, obviously it didn't look like him. So employees called 911. Police took Singh into custody Saturday morning in Terminal 2 near Gate F12. Haggerty said Singh reportedly found the badge in the airport and was scared to go home due to COVID-19. She told the judge other passengers were giving him food.
What?
Singh lives in the Los Angeles suburb of Orange with roommates and does not have a criminal background, according to Assistant Public Defender Corney Smallwood. She said that he has a master's degree in hospitality and is unemployed.
Okay, well.
Wow.
I mean, did he get all this stuff, like he would get all the carts from the coins and get the reward? Would he do that?
I don't know how he was making money. He was burning. He might have.
And O'Hare's expensive.
I guess it was just panhandling. Maybe someone just thought he was like one of the homeless people, or it's people
There you get some people that just want to step out of the frame, man. That's all,
Well, if he could get into a secure area,
let's see what this is like. I'm going to try this.
If he can get into a secure area, then he can get into maybe he got into the food area.
Yeah, might have gotten into some. Yeah, that's why he's misdemeanor theft, because obviously not just stealing the badge, but obviously he had to steal food to eat. I mean, for 3 months.
Well, the United, they have those trays of food and stuff where it's like
maybe he was going through garbage to find scraps to eat out of that.
I don't know.
So Smallwood acknowledged the circumstances were unusual, but noted the allegations were nonviolent. It was unclear what brought Singh to Chicago and if he has any ties to the area. As a condition of his bail, Ortiz barred Singh from stepping foot in the airport again if he's able to post the $1,000 bond he needs for his release. He's due back in court on January 27th. So, obviously, the judge said the court finds these facts and circumstances quite shocking for the alleged period of time that this occurred. Being in a secured part of the airport under a fake ID badge, allegedly based upon the need for airports to be absolutely secure so that people feel safe to travel, I do find those alleged actions do make him a danger to the community. But, yeah.
All I keep thinking about is The Terminal. Is that movie from Tom Hanks, The Terminal. Where he's got the can and I have to go outside, and then I want to go home to Kokosia.
And then his country no longer existed. Yeah, I saw the movie on cable some years ago, but this is the real thing. Dude just I'm afraid to fly. So he had grown scraggly beard and had a bald head. Looks like I was wearing a black hoodie.
Maybe he can try to figure out how to get a date with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or he can find a way to. Maybe he was on his way to Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Yeah, to go climb up on the lapel of George Washington.
Man,
he went to Mount President too.
Yeah, well. As long as we're talking about rocks, Massachusetts already has an official fossil, and we're not talking about we're not talking about one of the Kennedys.
I see what you did there.
And
that's right, Jeff.
Now,
we a brand new Massachusetts fossil.
Well, no, apparently they actually do have a state fossil, an actual fossil, like
one of their actual bones fossil.
I guess so, but apparently now, State Rep Jack Lewis of Framingham, Massachusetts, is proposing the selection of a state dinosaur as well. Quote, with so much uncertainty in our world today, can you think of a better way to help kids and those young at heart learn about the legislative process than by naming an official Massachusetts state dinosaur? What?
Okay.
Okay.
Just another useless thing to have.
One more thing the Boston people can rip into the New York people for.
We
got a dinosaur.
Anyway, we got a fucking state dinosaur right here.
What do you New Yorkers got, huh? You got nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't even fit in the car.
You guys know nothing about Sue in Chicago, man.
Anyway, so he wrote this on Twitter on January 4th and posted links online to an online survey where citizens can choose the species they'd like to represent them, and said he got 150 votes in 2 hours. Jeez. Okay, so and then we have Cam Faust and Kevin Joyner. We're not sure how to at first to react when during a fishing trip on January 3rd in Darwin, Australia, they heard a faint and found a naked man clinging to the branches and the mangrove forest filthy and covered with bug bites. The man, Luke Voskresky, who was 40, told them he'd gotten lost on his way to a New Year's Eve party a few days earlier and had been eating snails to stay alive.
Oh, God.
Oh.
They offered him cold beer and a ride back to town when they found out the real reason that this man was stranded in croc-infested waters. He had been arrested for armed robbery and fitted with an ankle monitor, which he had broken before escaping bail. The one guy's spouse says, I was going to go visit him in the hospital, but the paramedic said he's in a hospital with handcuffs and two cops babysitting him. So maybe we'll just leave it where it is.
Thank you, Florida man. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God, this guy's 90 ways fucked up.
No, that's Australia.
Oh, this is Australia. You said croc-infested waters.
Yeah, well, Australia got croc-infested waters apparently.
Yeah.
Ending a dispute. This looks like it's coming from Asia. It looks like China. Ending a dispute that began in 2014. Judge Lu Xingel of the Beijing District People's Court ruled in late December that a man identified only as Tian and his family must leave the hospital room they've been squatting in for 6 years.
Okay.
Wow.
Tien had undergone a medical procedure at the hospital and spent a few days recovering. There, accompanied by his family, but at discharge, Tien disputed the hospital bill and refused to leave. Tien's parents settled in with him, bringing pots, pans, groceries, and other personal items from home. Over the years, the hospital took the family to court on multiple occasions, and even in 2019, even waived its fee in an effort to expel them, but the family countersued, and a ruling by the judge found that the family was entitled to compensation of $73,000, which they accepted, and they were taken home on a hospital ambulance.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, the dude stuck at O'Hare for 3 months reads this and like, what the hell?
Okay, so the real trick is just you didn't go long enough, and you were in a Chinese hospital. That's the real problem here.
Okay.
Wow.
Let's see. This one's from England, so this should be freaking amusing. Here's a heads up, Ivan. This could happen to you. Thomas Dodd, a Tamworth, Staffordshire, England, got into his cups over the Christmas holiday and was watching Celine Dion concerts on YouTube when he had brainstormed. He would pay £89 to officially change his name to Celine Dion. Dodd forgot all about it until the papers arrived in the mail on December 30th, the Metro News reported. Quote, I wish I had known what had happened, but it was '89. No shit, really, never would have guessed. He admits to being concerned about the reaction he'll get at work, and his mother isn't too pleased. But, quote, if it gives people a laugh this year, then I don't care. I think we could all do with a laugh after the year we've just had. I'm trying to see how many more of these I got. Okay,
I'm Celine. Yeah, that's me.
Here's the last one. Twitter users were quick to point out the irony after a picture was posted of an unidentified man arrested in Peshawar, Pakistan on New Year's Eve for wearing a mask during the pandemic. The man had been terrorizing people by riding through the city on his motorcycle while wearing a werewolf mask and roaring.
Okay.
At least one commenter saw a silver lining. People get scared of the dude and they don't come out on New Year during the COVID times. Everyone stays safe. Isn't this a good thing?
There you go.
So that's what I got. Before we get out of here, do we have a sheet quote of the week?
Sure. It's obviously, if you're on Twitter, you can follow us at SOTRT Podcast. But if you're also on Twitter, you need to follow the Iron Sheik because he's the best Twitter account ever. So let's find one from the Iron Sheik, shall we? Now, let's see here.
The problem is you can never find just one good one from the Iron Sheik.
So I'll just take the one that I retweeted here from the Iron Sheik. That's _Iron Sheik. When life gives you lemons, break the fucking lemon tree's back, suplex it, put it in the camel clutch, make it humble, that dumb son of a bitch bastard, fuck the jabroni lemons.
God.
Thank you.
Well, right now.
That's a
humdinger.
Yes.
That's good.
That'll do for News of the Squared. Now we're on
I guess so.
We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. Follow these crazy stories on Facebook. That our Squares Roundtable Facebook page. You can download the show on your usual podcast hosting platforms, Google, Apple, Spotify, Anchor. And you can, of course, follow Ivan on Twitch at Java and Ivan. Jeff is on Steinamite Productions on YouTube and Facebook. You can also listen to this show on YouTube. Click the bell, subscribe, to get into content. Email us at sotrtpodcast@gmail.com.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us here on the News of the Squared. And until next time, everybody, stay safe, stay cool, do the right thing. And on behalf of Jeff, Mike, and myself, y'all have a good whatever time it is.
And hopefully we'll have another year of Betty White.
Yes, happy birthday, Betty. 99.
Mm-hmm.
And
if
99.
you don't, we'll suplex you and break your back, like Sheik says.
That's right. Make you humble.
Yeah.
Yep.